Hi guys, it's raining again, or should I say still. It's almost not stopped really. We have had, a few hours here and there when it's not been raining over the last week or so, but it has been raining more often than not, and I'm on my way out to milk the goats again, and I'm going to get wet again. Unfortunately, I don't have much of a window of opportunity today. I've got to do it right now. It's about 3:30. You might notice, look, I've cut the hedges. These ones through here are looking a little bit better now, and we've got the hedge trimmings put in piles. Each pile represents 1 day's worth of food for the goats. So they've got about 4 or 5 days through here, which is nice. They've had some today already, and goodness me, I'm just really nervous that we're not going to get a summer, because I love summer. Don't we all love summer? And it just doesn't seem like there's going to be much change in the weather over the next few days. I haven't looked at the long range forecast, but certainly over the next few days it doesn't look like there's going to be much change. It's not even wanted for the garden anymore. The garden's had certainly all it needs and then some. And I was going to be digging up some potatoes today, and this weather's kind of put me off because it's all boggy, and I just can't face going in there. I have weeded some of my strawberries. I've nearly finished that bed now, but again, rain stopped play. I just had a live stream at 12 o'clock, which you might or might not have seen, and I'd just come in from doing the hedge trimming and the strawberries at that point. Anyway, we've got my in-laws coming for tea. It was a tradition before the pandemic, before the first lockdown. It was a tradition. Every Sunday they would come over for tea. Hey Sydney, how you doing? He knows he's going to get fed in a second. But yeah, it was a tradition. Every Sunday they'd come over for tea. Usually it would tie up with my wife would go and visit them on Saturday and leave a number of children there, either 1 or 2, and then they would stay the night, and then they would be brought back on the Sunday, and I would cook a big meal. And we're starting to get back into that habit now. Now all the lockdowns are lifted, and we're starting to see some normality return to our lives. I'm not sure how you guys are all getting on. It varies massively depending on where you are in the world, but here in the UK, we're at the beginning of the end now for the pandemic. Most people have been vaccinated. And hello girls. I forgot their feed bucket. It's down with Sid. Oh, perfect weather for me having to make extra trips. I know, I'm coming. So yeah, we're at the beginning of the end now, and certainly we've all been double vaccinated, all of the adults within this group that I'm talking about, my in-laws, myself, my wife. So that's nice. And so I had a festival of pork on Friday after work, and I cooked a tremendous amount of pork that we shared with some friends. And as part of it, I made a massive amount of pulled pork. And with some of that, I've made basically, it's like a chili con carne, but instead of the beef mince, we use pulled pork. And a little tip for you there, if you want to make bolognese and chili con carnes, hey Sydney, and things like that, but you don't want to use beef mince for whatever reason, and for us the reason is we don't produce it, then you can just use pulled pork, straight substitution. In fact, you can use pulled chicken as well and do a similar thing. We use quite a lot of the chicken that we eat is pulled chicken, because it's super simple to make, and it just stretches, it goes so far. I think I've shared that before on this channel. It's actually a much simpler thing than you might think. So yeah, we're all having a massive bowl of chili and rice and tortillas for tea. That's on the stove now. I've just come out to milk the goats. You can't see it from there. My umbrella has completely given up now. It's fallen to the floor. So we just get wet now. It's funny. I just said to my wife, today is the first day this year where I said I just can't be bothered. I wish I didn't have to milk the goats. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it now I'm here. And talking to you guys helps, honestly, makes a big difference. But for the first time this year, I just really didn't feel like it. And it is all the weather. It's all weather. But there you go. You know, hard things come before good things. And it doesn't take too much mental gymnastics for me to just remember all of the good things that we get from this. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. And I always feel much better. Even if I'm feeling great before, I always feel much better once milking's done. Because like I've said before, it's the only thing in my day that's got a real time constraint to it, has to be done, etc., etc. So once it's done, I feel much freer. Sydney's. The girls running up to get out the rain. Not you though, Rhubarb. Sheep don't care about the rain, but the goats do. I think they don't mind when we're milking, but I think they'll be glad when I get a new umbrella as well, not just me. So I'm going to go in and process the milk now, and I'm going to pass you over to me from about a week ago, because about a week ago I did some filming and it was actually, I thought, a really good video, but the second half of it, the audio was corrupted. So I'm going to pass you over to that now. So the first half's all good, and I'll have to talk you through the second half when we get there. Hi guys, I've just finished milking the goats and on my way into the house to process the milk, but before I do, we've got a little bit of an issue I need to deal with. I've got my treat here for Sid. As you'll know, he always gets his little bit of food after the girls have been milked. Well, he's not in my best books today because he is the wrong side of his electric fence. He's still within the paddock. He doesn't ever get out of the paddock fences, or he hasn't until now, but he is the wrong side of the electric fence within his little paddock. So I'm going to have to deal with that. You pleased with yourself? You can't get to your food now, can you? Now the electric fence is definitely working because I can hear it clicking. I think he must have just made a dash for it. Come on then. Come on. So you can see he is respectful of the electric. So I'm not sure how he ended up the other side of it. Anyway, problem solved. So I'm going in the house now to process the milk, and then I'm going to come out and plant out some seedlings. We've got some space in our beds where we've been harvesting, and I want to replace all that. Another thing to share with you guys actually is one of you, and I'm so sorry, but I can't remember who it was. Please let me know in the comments. One of you gave me a fantastic suggestion, and I've not seen it anywhere else online, and it's super simple and super awesome. That was for, September, as a pepper replacement to dry and crush some radish, and I've done that and it works really well. So that's, fantastic. I'm definitely going to be using that as a replacement for pepper in September. It's super easy. I was leaning towards a few other forageable items, among them shepherd's purse and some pepper dulse seaweed. I've not had a chance to harvest any of those, but I'm covered now thanks to you guys. So yeah, please do let me know if it was you so I can thank you properly. But I've had some radish that I sliced really, really finely in the dehydrator overnight. It does take quite a long time actually to dry out enough. So I had it in the dehydrator overnight and all day today while I was at work. When I got home, the first thing I did was just crushed it up, and yeah, really happy with it. Really happy with it, in fact. Only a tiny amount. I just did, a tester to see think I did like 4 radishes, but I'm actually, one of the things I'm going to do this week is plant a load more radishes for that purpose, because we don't normally grow radish in the centre of summer, right in the middle of summer, because it just gets too hot. What on earth is going on here? Looks like the chickens have somehow got into our recycling. There's something about that tinfoil you like, is there, little girl? I don't know if you can remember, but usually there's a big bush just here at the front of the polytunnel. And we took all the foliage off it yesterday, and that's our wormwood. And we took that off over the weekend and gave that to our animals. That goji berry is the next one to come out. If I get time, I'll do that today as well. So we've been harvesting these golden beetroot for a few weeks now, and we've just started this week harvesting the first of our choggia beetroot, the purple beetroot. And I have to say, it's a world apart. They're so much nicer, so much tastier, sweeter, more delicious. Yeah, the choggia are definitely the way to go. And I've got a load of choggia seedlings here, which we're ready to put in, and that's what I'm going to do right now, along with a little bit of weeding. So up here between our path and our onions, we've got about a foot wide strip that is basically our beetroot patch. And I'm just succession sowing constantly beetroot in this area because, you know, as you guys know, it's one of the crops me and my family all absolutely love. We love it raw and cooked. And we're getting to the stage now where I probably won't have too many more sowings of beetroot, because it's a fairly quick crop, but it's not lightning fast like things like spinach. So we are, you know, we haven't finished succession sowing beetroot yet, but we are nearer the end than the start, that's for sure. But that's not to say that we're nearer the end than the start insofar as harvesting it and eating it. Absolutely not. We've only just really started harvesting it in earnest. We're at the stage now where we're eating as much of it as we like, which is fantastic. And we shall shortly be turning to preservation to make sure that we can have some throughout the rest of the year as well. Beetroot's one of those that's not the easiest thing to preserve if you want to retain that texture, which is really important to me. It's one of those plants you do have to blanch and then freeze. So it's one of my least favourite ways of preserving, really, because not only with the blanching does it require a little bit of work, not a lot, but a little bit of work, but on top of that it's going to be followed up by taking up some freezer space. So I'm going to have a bit of a play around this year and see if I can't find some other ways of preserving it, perhaps brining it, which isn't something I've done before. It'll be interesting to see if there are some other ways I can preserve it, because we're growing plenty that I can afford to experiment a little bit. Most of this weeding I'm doing now is a result of my poor decision or poor thinking and using hay earlier in the season as a bit of frost protection. Just, I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. If I was thinking, I wouldn't have done it. Straw's fine, but hay, obviously, it's full of all the seed heads. So I'm now harvesting hay. So I've just looked up to say hello to my wife, who's just got back from work, and Sydney's back where he shouldn't be, right under my nose. So we're going to put him back in the pen he was in before.